Hamas has agreed to return the bodies of 4 Israeli men killed during the October 7th attacks in exchange for hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. The ceasefire in Gaza ends this weekend. Cecile Shea, senior fellow at the Chicago Council of Global Affairs, joins us now. And Cecile, thanks for stopping by. We were just discussing this during the commercial break. Okay, so the ceasefire ends this weekend. What can we anticipate for Monday?
So if anyone comes on your show and says they know, you probably shouldn't have them back, because
Okay.
absolutely no one knows. The last 6 weeks of the ceasefire, it seems like Hamas has done everything in its power to ensure that Netanyahu has almost no political pressure not to restart the war. That was a lot of negatives in that sentence. Basically, the only pressure on Netanyahu right now not to go into Gaza again is coming from released hostages and the families of the remaining hostages. And because of that, I think there may be an extension to the ceasefire. President Trump's negotiator is there right now, and that's really, I think, what he's pushing for, is some kind of extension which would lead to more Israelis being released and more Palestinian prisoners being released. But we're a long way from any kind of long-term agreement right now.
And how many Israelis or others remain still in captivity there?
So the big question is how many are still alive.
I see.
There's about 30 to 40 still missing, and some of them seem to be alive, but barely. And one of the points that some of the released hostages, and especially their families, are making is the people who are getting out are in such terrible shape. If anyone is still alive, they won't be able to last much longer. And that is really the pressure on Netanyahu, although I have to say a large percentage of his cabinet just wants to restart the war on Monday.
They do, okay.
Yes.
So what kind of pressure can President Trump put on both sides here? You said that his chief negotiator is there already.
Yes. So one of the questions is, was this kind of threat of forcing the Palestinians out of Gaza so that the U.S. could turn it into a resort?
Right, and that was my follow-up question to you.
The question is, was he sincere? Because it seems like such a strange thing. Or was it just his attempt to put more pressure on the Palestinians and to say, stop messing around or you're going to pay an even higher price? I don't know the answer to that question. The fact is the U.S. itself is kind of a little short on things of ways to pressure either side. But it's interesting that Mr. Witkoff, the negotiator, is visiting a lot of Arab countries in the region, not just going to Israel and Gaza. And what he's trying to do is get some of the Arab countries to pressure both Israel, which wants relations with those countries, and especially Hamas, to not restart the war and not restart the fighting.
How viable is that Trump plan to displace? Okay.
It's just impossible. I mean, part of Egypt's peace treaty with Israel was that Egypt gave up claims to Gaza because Egypt controlled Gaza until the '67 war. And Egypt gave up claims to Gaza in return for a promise from Israel that Gaza would become part of a Palestinian state. Egypt has no desire to have 2 million Palestinians to take care of. It's just not going to happen.
And so what can we expect next then? How do you think this will all unfold next week? What are the steps?
So there's 2 possibilities.
Okay.
One is that we get another 2 weeks, 3 weeks, month of a ceasefire so that we can get some more hostages exchanged, and perhaps the U.S. can help broker some ongoing talks. Mr. Witkoff has a hard job because he's also doing the Ukraine talks. So the man has a full plate right now. And the other possibility is that there's kind of some minor skirmishes. And the worst case scenario right now for the Palestinians certainly is that Israel launches a full-scale attack on Gaza.
After they've already been allowed to go back.
Well, after the Gazans have moved north, that's right. And a full-scale attack would probably mean the rest of the hostages would be killed. I mean, there's a good chance that might happen. And it would just mean more suffering for the Palestinian people in Gaza, who I have to say are very angry at Hamas right now. We don't poll there, and it's a totalitarian regime, so they can't speak publicly. But it's pretty clear that they know that Hamas caused all this.
Cecile, thank you again for your insight on this delicate situation this morning.
Thank you.